Hello and welcome to this week's bonus episode. I'm Chelsea Toronto.
I'm Dr. Lindsay Regier.
Yay!
We're recapping our favorite podcasts.
That's right. In this series, we recap our favorite podcasts.
In case you didn't hear it the first time. We're recapping Empower Her, Earn Your Happy, and Powerhouse Women.
Yeah.
And I just listened to them like half an hour ago, so it is fresh in my mind.
Same.
And I listened to everything on 1.5 speed, so
Me
it's
too.
really like...
Yeah, but efficient. Okay,
Yeah.
Who do you want to start with?
Who do you want to start with?
No, it's up to you.
Oh, let's start with...
Wow, a lot of notes.
Yeah. Let's start with Empower Her.
Yeah. That was on mine.
Okay. You know why I like this one? Because, first of all, she's talking about...
Let's give a quick...
It's called a pep talk.
Uh-huh.
And a pep talk on resourcefulness and figuring things out.
Okay.
This is the episode.
Right.
I liked it because, just like you, she loves a good analogy. So it started off with a tool belt. A tool belt analogy. And then my mind went to Keisha, the tool belt tailor. And then I was thinking about home improvement. And then I got slightly sidetracked when I was listening. So I went back. But I like the analogy of a tool belt of resourcefulness. And I do agree that your best resource is your resourcefulness. That's gotten me through some tough times. So I really liked that it takes a lot of confidence building to build up the resourcefulness in yourself. And also, she broke it down into there's a past version of herself, the present version, and the future version. And the past version, for example, she was running 5 miles today, and she was like, that was really hard.
Oh, you know what? That example really annoyed me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of you when she was talking about it, because how she was saying, oh my gosh, 5 miles is so hard, but past me has ran marathons and half marathons. So like, I know I can do this, and she has the mindset capacity to do it. So I was thinking about you at Red Rocks yesterday when you're like, oh, this is hard, but you've ran a half marathon before
And a whole
marathon, and you've hiked before. Yeah.
Now that I'm a hiker.
Now that you're a hiker.
Here's what I have to say about that, Keisha. I think it's fair to remember who we were. This is not my entire, but just on that one particular note, it frustrated me to think that just because the person of yesteryear ran a marathon, this person today is not that same person, may have not been training as much. So to put that pressure on oneself to be like, well, 5 years ago I ran it. Well, maybe a lot's changed like in the last 6 months. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And so to put those expectations on yourself to say that I did it once, therefore I should do it again. We're pretty dynamic people to expect the same things. However, she's right. You are capable of it, but maybe physically you have to work. Because I was like, I can envision like spraining something and then, okay. So,
I know.
All right.
Like I used to run 5Ks, and now I'm like, fuck that. I can't even run a mile.
Yeah. No, I'm down with it. But that particular example kind of got me frustrated for that reason.
Gotcha. But I do think that she makes a good point that the greatest resource is like within yourself.
Sure.
And then like what we're doing presently. So I'm thinking about this with the podcast.
Ours?
Yes, our podcast. And just in case you guys don't know this about the show, like we want to make this our full-time gig.
Yeah.
We're really wanting to monetize this and be doing events and just doing all the things that we have in our dreams. And she talks about the confidence bucket and consistency. So,
and I talk about emotional deposits. So she was talking about a bucket, but I like to do it in dollars and cents when you're making deposits. And I was like, oh, I am saying a number of the same. Okay.
You're saying like the same thing. So sometimes we're like, what else do we need to do to make this a business? And like, what else do we have to do to do this? And I think when I was like thinking back to, okay, a year ago, we were like, yeah, we kind of know what we're doing, but like not really. So just the resourcefulness of being consistent and keep on showing up every single week has led us to where we are right now. So now like future self, we can look back in like a year from now and be like, okay, we kept on being consistent. We kept on going. And we had that resource to finally make this a full-time gig.
Good one. Okay. So my take on it, tool belts. I posted yesterday while at Red Rocks climbing the stairs, and my one of knowing your own tools. I didn't like the tool belt notion, but I like it in a box, like a carry case. if you will.
Is it like a hat box?
No,
Is
it's
it
kind of like my sewing box
Okay.
where you have like that cute little like,
Yeah.
and it's all in there. I liked it because real time I was able to utilize what she was saying. So I said, "Oh, I'm hiking. This sucks," and I had my sunglasses on, which some people might think, "Oh, it's just sunny out," but no. If you listen to us, that is one of my tools that I would put in my toolbox. Another one was the body double. I've often said that when I want you to like, but when I needed you to like sit on my bed and watch me clean, and that was just to have like a friendly body to calm my like nervous system when I was freaking the fuck out. And that happened yesterday because maybe a lot like those Manitou steps.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was kind of panicking, and then we talked, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, it's fine." So, but the point is, I don't remember what all my tools are. So what I should be doing is taking inventory of all my tools, writing it on a 3x5 card, attaching it to my toolbox, and be like, remember, these are the things you use when XYZ situations arise. Or can you use parts of those when something comes up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tools.
So tools.
Okay. What's the next one?
Let's do powerhouse.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So so powerhouse women, let's see. It was called, it's part of a series. Activate Abundance. Part 1 of creating opportunity in the
I didn't
midst
listen to that.
of uncertainty. Oh, well, let me tell you, it definitely wraps right into what Keisha was talking about using our tools that we have so that we can learn from previous experience and not let fear take over.
Oh, you know what I listened to?
What?
The summary of 3, because this is the one you sent me.
No, I sent you the one I sent you.
Where's my phone?
Okay, I sent you.
Okay, anyway, so go
I
on.
sent you this one.
Oh, man. I listened to something else, but I'll
That's okay. You recap that one.
Okay, great.
Okay, you really should have listened to this one because
I think I started to.
You started to? Okay. So essentially what she's talking about is that when something comes up, so she was using the example of there's a recession going on right now, or there's one about to be announced, maybe, but 2 different people can hear that information and 2 different people can respond in very different ways and have very different outcomes. So when you hear some news or like some kind of fear is coming up for you, she has 3 steps about how
I
to
definitely didn't listen to
control this. Okay. So step number 1, just carefully audit the information and content you're consuming.
Oh, I did listen. Sorry.
And she was like an outfit, you can choose what thought and meaning you choose to put on. I was like, that's right up Chelsea's alley.
Yeah.
And then step number 2, focus on what you can control. So what you choose to believe, where your mindset chooses to go. Do you want to feed into the fear? Do you want to fuel yourself with more positive things? I was like, obviously we're on the positive side. And then number 3, remember that now more than ever, people are looking for leadership and you have the ability to be a voice of hope for people who are watching you. So I was like, dang, we're just like right on the right track, because she was talking about you don't have to be certain in anything. And I was like, perfect, because we're not experts in anything. We're just here to be your friends. We're just here to entertain. And that's, I think, what people need more right now than someone else preaching to you about what to do. So it's also just taking inventory about is what we're offering something that people need. And you can look at that in your life as well. So I thought it was like a really good part 1.
I really liked the episode I listened to.
Okay, tell me about it.
But to that point, when I was hiking with a friend, we were talking about a situation. This friend described it as one way, and I was like, honestly, that sounds amazing. Mm-hmm. My friend was like, oh, maybe. Like, yeah, and there have been times where I've described my current situations, mm-hmm. and friends were like, really? That sounds amazing. Yeah. So what that means is it doesn't have to be the like trigger response or like, you know, like the standard response. Like, oh, getting fired, that's a bummer. Or it could be like, fuck yeah, I got fired because I didn't have the nerve to quit. So I am offering a new service where people can come hiking with me, and I will reframe the situation that you'd like to tackle. Because I can get a lot of work done in those mountains.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, real fast. Powerhouse Women.
Yeah.
She talked to all of the 3 speakers that she's going to have on stage.
Oh.
Yeah, and I found them. I can do it real fast.
Okay.
Coach Chart. She says review the footage of the day, right? Like just keep assessing. I like all the sport analogies. And then she said you're only as good as your personal development. I don't know if I agree with that, Coach Char. Fine. I think self-awareness certainly goes a long way. And she also said that she reads a book a day. She's like, well, it's only one of those that's 15 minutes. And I don't do it on the weekends. And I don't. And I was like, Bish, you're not doing it.
There's an app where it literally just breaks down like the 15 minutes that you need to know
that's what she
of
was
the book.
doing. And I felt like she was plugging it. And I was like, I'm really reading the books. You don't get to say that. I mean, she did say
What's her affiliate code for that?
I know, right? Okay. So then there was this Sandra Chama.
I'm not sure.
Okay. She's on point. She also talks about, she said one thing that really caught my ear. She's like, for those that identify as female.
Oh.
That's the first time I've heard that. And I imagine that won't be the last.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sandra. She talks about being worthy and feeling worthy. And I was really identifying with that because there's a lot of times with this podcast, I'm like, I believe in what we do, but I'm like, are we worthy enough we're not selling anything. We don't have this niche, like, and we're not doing a multi-marketing thing. And like, can't we just be entertainment? Like, anyway, so you take worthy out of deserving and it's like, Then there was Lori and it's being able to trust. Asking for help is really a level of like trusting the person that you're willing to ask. Luckily for you,
I
trust the shit out of you because I ask you for, but you know what? You told me one time, you told me once, the way you define friendship. You remember that?
No, tell me what I said.
It changed my life. It was one of the many things you've said that's changed my life. When you said friendship's about kind of showing up equally. What did you say?
Oh, yeah, something like that. Like, if you're really a true friend, you just show up for each other no matter what, and there's not an expectation.
Or like, if it's not beneficial, that's especially when you show up.
Yeah.
Like all of your events. Like, hey, I love being there. It was fun. It's been really, it's been amazing, but it's been so fulfilling to watch you grow as a practitioner with your business. So I do get something out of it. And now to have you like on my paths, whatever, and you never make me feel bad for asking for help. Good one. No. So let's get on to She Shed.
Oh yeah.
Earn your happy.
She Shed. Earn your happy. About expanding your circle of influence.
It's like he said, she said, which I can't say. And then it's about Lori and her husband, Chris. Ugh, these two.
I purposely just have to pick the She Sheds because he just entertains me. Yeah. Okay, you know what they said though about their lake house?
What?
It's actually a business expense. Because it's their mastermind house. Yeah. So I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder if it is actually bought in like, it's probably bought in like their LLC and then they write everything off as like a task.
And he's like, oh, we're only one introduction away from knowing everybody.
I know. And I was like, the president of Dubai, the world, like whoever runs the world. I'm like, are you really only one introduction away?
What about us?
One? I know.
Chris?
Yeah. I mean, technically, he knows Keisha.
Yeah, I know. I did realize that as soon as I said it. But I found their stuff to be helpful.
I liked it. And Lori was talking about how you have to create a container.
What's with the word container?
A little sewing box kit with
What's with the word container?
Did
you know that's a new thing?
That is a new thing.
So everyone, that's going to be a thing. That's going to be on Instagram here in the next 6 months. They're going to be talking about building a container. I don't know what that looks like. I envisioned like the cylinder tube that you put at the bank where it's like, that's the container I envisioned. And I thought that was weird. Or then I envisioned like a big container you might get from Europe with lots of goodies that come on the boat. I had a hard time envisioning what container meant.
Yeah, I've learned about this word container when I was in this other mastermind a year ago, and it's all about marketing and your container. And it's kind of like your niche, I feel like. I hate both of these words, but
they're so abstract.
They're so abstract. And then when I think about container, I'm like, don't put me in a box.
Unless it means going to the container store.
Yes. Then bring it on. So she was talking about how she wanted to have this meetup of women who are interested in health and fitness. And that was her container that she wanted to form and have, I don't know, the same like-minded women do the same thing. And this is what I'm thinking. Okay, she started doing this, 10, 15 years ago. Before it was such an overly saturated market and everyone wants to have a meetup and everyone wants to do the same thing. Not to say that you can't still do it, but
You sure can. Look at us.
you sure can. We're still doing it. And I think that how we're different from what she's doing is that we're not trying to like preach to you or like really educate you on anything. We're just here to be friends. And that's our container that we're building, is a friendship container.
No. Of course, Chris made a reference to the boat and the boathouse, and I think 3 things were what you. Oh, I can't read my writing. You don't need to drag those in your life. Drag the people. So those anchors in your life, you don't need to keep dragging them along.
Mm-hmm. You need to know when to cut off those people in your life, because better people will come into your life that are more in alignment with you. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm okay with not having it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah. And also, he also brought up that consistency and adding value. We'll get to when you add consistency and value to everything that you do, then the people that see you adding the value will want to help you, which is how you expand your circle of influence.
Oh, I know what we haven't mentioned. Yeah. Networking. Hello.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
That was okay. So they're essentially naming 3 things, like networking. Mm-hmm. So the title of the episode is increasing your circle of influence, right? And by doing these 3 things, you're increasing your circle of influence, one of which is networking. And he encouraged people to go hard for a solid year of networking, and you'd be surprised to see what happens. And I honestly do believe that.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what? There's nothing, you can't poke holes in that. That is 100% true, because that's effort, that's showing up, that's consistency, that's putting yourself out there. And he's exactly right.
Exactly right. And in person.
Yes, 100%. It's got to be in person. Not that doing those things on Zoom, it's just not the same thing. Mm-hmm. What was the other one? You don't have to drag. You don't have to be a party of those people who just don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to drag them along. So of course it was like this boating reference, and I was like,
of course,
gosh,
dragging the wakeboard along. Yeah.
Cut that anchor. And then she said something else, but the one thing she said, and it wasn't a point, but I caught it, and it was like, proving to yourself that things are possible. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like one of the third, but she kind of just said it casually, like, oh, so all this hiking I've been doing lately isn't about hiking. It's about continuing to prove myself like I can keep walking. Mm-hmm. Or yesterday was even harder than the hikes.
Yeah.
Quieting the mind to do those steps. And then when I told you it was hard just walking up there, so then I went a complete around. Because I was like, well, I'm not going to let that happen again. Especially those tourists. They didn't look like they were breathing heavy at all.
I think they're faking it. Red Rocks is so hard.
So hard. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I gave this week's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I loved everything. And then they also name dropped each other in their episodes. Big time. So it just goes to show that this world is very small, and it's like small, and it's like networking that you get to be in these rooms and be known with these people. And friends with them. Mm-hmm. Chris
is like, just skip eating Starbucks and then make money, and you can show up to all these events that are not cheap. And it was like,
okay, I will not skip Starbucks, but I'll be there.
I will be there as well.
So yeah, overall, I think
it was very helpful. I found
it helpful. I think consistency and resourcefulness is the name of the game.
All of which isn't within you, so you don't need any of them. All you need is us.
We got you.
Okay. Well, anything else?
No, that's it for our recap.
Great.
So, if you like this episode, make sure you take a screenshot of it, tag us, and tag Lori and Keisha and Lindsay with your takeaways. Yay. Thanks. Bye.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.